When we get a dog, it becomes a member of our family. We love it and are ready to give it the best. But do we always understand our pets correctly? Do our ideas about raising a puppy correspond to modern standards? There are many myths surrounding every fact about dogs. So, what do you believe when they tell you something about your pet? The age of the dog by human standards. It is well known dogs age much faster than humans, and one of the common misconceptions is that 1 year of a pet's life is equal to 7 human years. This vague formula implies that a 10-year-old dog is the same age as a 70-year-old man. This myth has existed since the 13th century. Your puppy grows and ages very quickly, but the 7-year-old or 3-year-old rule for cats is not accurate. In fact, there is no exact formula for comparing the age of dogs and people, because you need to take into account the weight, breed, and heredity. Dogs have black and white vision. One of the most common myths, and the dog says that dogs are colorblind. According to the American Kennel Club, dogs can see some colors, but the spectrum is limited compared to human vision. Dogs have dichromatic vision, meaning their eyes have only 2 types of cones that perceive colors. In humans, most other primates have 3 types of cones, and therefore, they have 3 chromatic vision. You can't change the behavior of the genes. All manifestations of behavior, without exception, are a complex of genetically and educated. It's just that in some cases, you need to put more effort, and in others less. But with the help of quality education, whatever the genes, you will be able to achieve a lot anyway. You can't teach an old dog new tricks. It is possible and necessary to train a dog in commands, regardless of what age it is. However, in the case of an adult dog, it will take more time and patience. If the dog is wagging its tail, it means it is friendly. Because of this widespread belief, unpleasant situations sometimes arise. The dog wags its tail, they try to stroke it, but for some reason it bites. People used to think that wagging the tail indicates a friendly mood of the dog, but this is not always the case. You need to pay attention to other signs. A dog that clearly wants to be stroked, in addition to wagging its tail, crouches on its hind legs, substitutes its back, spins like a top, and literally walks with a shudder. If the dog's body is practically motionless, and it is only wagging its tail, then most likely the animal is tense and can attack. In volumes where several dogs live at once, it is necessary to maintain hierarchy by giving food, treats, and attention to the animals occupying the dominant position first, and then to those who occupy a subordinate position. To begin with, the leader in this pack should be the owner, and the dog can be singled out, given food and affection first. When she behaves better, shows more obedience, thereby you will give an example to the rest of the dogs. The black mouth is definitely evil. Often, according to this principle, choose a puppy on a chain, and then he is surprised that a born guard and defender fawns over strangers. Such a popular belief has nothing to do with reality, simply because the color of the dog's palate depends on the color of the coat and pigmentation, and does not turn black due to malice and bad temper. Are dog playgrounds completely safe for the health of dogs? It's fun and convenient for dogs to walk on dog playgrounds, but it's not such a safe place. They are full of parasites such as fleas, ticks, and worms. They may be in the feces of other dogs or contaminated water. Also, if a dog plays with its fellows during a walk, it can get skin damage and other injuries. These injuries should be monitored and treated in time. If the dog does not come into contact with other animals, you cannot vaccinate it. Not all existing vaccines are necessary for your dog. The set of mandatory vaccinations may vary depending on the locality. However, for example, vaccinations against rabies, plague, enteritis, leptospirosis are necessary for any dog, even if it is kept in an apartment and rarely on the street. Since the risk of infection is not excluded in this case, before vaccinating a dog, it is necessary to consult with a veterinarian. If the nose is dry, then the dog is sick. The humidity of a dog's nose is variable. During the day, it can be either dry, wet, warm, or cool. And it's not that the pet is starting to get sick. Perhaps he just got out from under the blanket, moved away from the battery or fan. If there are no other signs of ill health, you should not worry. But a wet nose is not a guarantee of well-being. Dogs, like their owners, may develop rhinitis. Diseases will be accompanied by changes in behavior, refusal of food, melancholy, and in this case, despite the wet and cold nose, you should not postpone a visit to a specialist. The dog must give birth for health. It is impossible to sterilize before that. Pregnancy and childbirth are not such a valuable contribution to the health of a dog. Even with a healthy pregnancy, the body of the expectant mother is depleted. And here the risks of difficult childbirth, cesarean section, multiple pregnancy. During this period, all those diseases that would not have woken up in a normal state can become active. In addition, pregnant women launch a kind of procreation program in the dog's body. Subsequently, false pregnancies, hormonal failures, pathology of the uterus and mammary glands of the dog are more likely to occur, and no one has cancelled the problem of putting puppies in good hands. So if you are doing this only for your health, it's not worth it. It is better to undergo the sterilization procedure, even if the dog did not give birth. From vaccination against rabies, you can get sick. In addition, the dog's teeth will deteriorate. This warning has come to us since the days when rabies vaccination was carried out with live vaccines, and isolated cases of the disease really took place, and the vaccination itself was hard to tolerate. Currently, vaccines are used exclusively safe, based on an activated rabies virus. Mestizos and mongrels are healthier than purebred dogs. This myth is so popular that many did not vaccinate their yard terriers, explaining that they have lived on the streets for centuries, which means that their immunity will cope with everything on its own. But this is not the case. The life expectancy of stray dogs is very low. They die from the same diseases as purebred pets. People just don't notice it. The dog should be fed as indicated on the food package. In fact, the indication on the feed box is only approximate. Each dog has its own level of metabolism, motor activity, and other nuances, depending on which it should be fed more or less. To determine how much food to give the dog, you need to contact a veterinarian. A dog with a healthy weight should not be fat. The ribs should be easily felt under its skin. Is it okay to leave the dog in the car? No, no, and no again. In extreme weather conditions, dogs can have serious health problems after just a few minutes of sitting in a car where it is too hot or too cold. On such days, it is better not to leave the dog in the car. Even your short trip to the store can turn out to be very sad for the dog. If you get stuck there for a while, it would be good to buy a dog for a child. No matter what the child says, he is still young and has the right to lose interest in the dog at any moment. So you take the dog for yourself, and only for yourself. Evaluate your strength. Will you be able to provide a decent life for the whole family, including giving enough time and effort to the puppy, and not offend anyone? Then, of course, accept a new tenant, and at the same time, educate the future dog handler in their ranks. A purebred puppy can be purchased cheaply. Before you get a dog, think carefully and weigh everything, so that you do not betray the one you have tamed. What other myths about dogs do you know? Perhaps you have been able to refute them from personal experience. Share your observations with us in the comments.
Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss our latest videos. Check out our other content, and be sure to hit that notification bell.